Okay, and with that, again, welcome to the Institute for Safer Trucking Survivor Support Meetup. I want to welcome Marianne Karth and Lois Durso Hawkins. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Jen, for inviting us. And we have a short PowerPoint that we both think it gives a really good overview of our efforts. And it also provides a history of Underride as well. So with that, let me see if I can share the sound. Marianne has been working with me because she is the tech guru. So let me start this from the beginning. Okay. So we have been working together for about 5 years now, and we've made some progress. It's very slow. First, we'll just talk about our stories. And my daughter, Roya, was 26. She was traveling with her fiance the night before Thanksgiving to his family's home. It was very snowy, icy road conditions. Her fiance was driving, and as a result, his car slid underneath the semi-tractor trailer. The rear wheel of the trailer impacted her side of the car, and Roya did not make it to the hospital. She had massive head and internal injuries. You can see where the tire went in, and her hair was actually on the tire of the trailer. Her fiance, who was the driver, walked away with barely a scratch. And that was kind of the first lesson that it's not the crash that kills, it's the underride. And Marianne, I'll let you tell your story.
Okay. So Lois' story was in 2004. And not the side of trailer. Ours was in 2013. I got on in our Crown Vic and got on the road going from North Carolina to Texas with the youngest 3 of our 9 children. We were going back to Texas for 4 of our older kids' college graduations and our oldest daughter's wedding. We got on I-20 in Georgia and came upon slow traffic from a previous crash. And I slowed down, and the truck driver did not. He hit our car, which spun us around so that we went backwards into the back of another tractor trailer ahead of us. And the rear underride guard on the trailer came right off in the back, so that the back of our car went under the trailer. Analia, who was 17 and Mary was 13, were sitting in the back seat. And so Analia died instantly, and Mary a few days later from her injury. As Lois said, it wasn't the crash that killed him, it was the underride, because I was in that same crash and my son in the front seat with me. I was in the hospital for almost a week, and he was discharged from emergency that night, the night of the crash. So when in the aftermath, when we learned that hundreds of people die under trucks every year, and that actually the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety had been doing crash testing of rear guards on trailers and proven that the guards on them that actually met the federal DOT standard for rear guards. They met them, but they were too weak to withstand crashes, many crashes. And so, and then at the same time, we learned that one company in the response to that research had improved their guard and shown that they could be made stronger. So we learned that it might have been prevented if action had been taken sooner. And as a result of that, I became a mom on a mission to make truck crashes more survivable. And sometime after that, that was 8 years ago, I met Lois Durso, and we embarked on this journey together. And right now we want to share with you a short 5-minute video that tells a good summary of the history of Underride, because we could talk for hours, right, Lois?
That's correct.
Yeah, so we'll show you this video now. So, and afterwards, then we'll talk about some more about some of the things we have done.
Right. Well, we're going to I'll set that up now. So we're going to talk about this video. We're going to show you first. It's about 5 minutes, a timeline of Underride, and then we're going to talk. We're going to just tell you what we did about getting the Stop Underrides Act written and moving it forward. And as part of our advocacy, we did a DC crash test. So there's a small short video to show you what happened there as well. And then we have a list of things that anyone can do to promote truck safety advocacy. And then we'll finish up with another very short video. So here we go. And this is the most difficult slide for me because it's a video from YouTube. So I hope I do it right. Bear with me. And there it goes. How about that?
Your car's safety standards mean nothing if you are in an underride crash with a tractor trailer. The bumpers between a car and a semi simply don't match up. The first point of impact in an underride is the windshield and then the driver and passenger's heads. Imagine how many lives would have been saved if the 1896 and 1915 side guard patents had become the standard. If in 1967, comprehensive underride protection had become the standard following actress Jane Mansfield's death. If in 1969, side underride protection had become the standard, as was then anticipated by the Federal Highway Administration. In 1977, the president of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety warned U.S. senators that blood has been shed, heads literally have rolled, and countless thousands of Americans have been injured because these agencies did not act. Further inaction would be inexcusable. In 2002, the American Trucking Associations predict side underride regulations will be in place by 2006. In 2004, Roya Sadi is killed in a side underride crash. Her mother, Lois Durso, creates StopUnderrides.org, which has championed this cause ever since. In 2013, Analia and Mary are killed in an underride crash. Their mother, Marianne Karth, starts Analia and Mary for truck safety. She has tirelessly campaigned for meaningful changes ever since. In 2014, the National Transportation Safety Board recommends side underride protection. In 2016, industry and victims come together at the first Underride Roundtable. In the following years, every major trailer manufacturer voluntarily strengthened guards to meet the new Tough Guard standard so that the rear of trailers are much safer and save lives. Now, we need to do the same for the sides of trailers. Trucking companies pay extra to add fuel-efficient side skirts to their trailers, but these do not protect against underride. The next step is protection for the side of trailers that save fuel and save lives. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety supports side underride guards for trailers. In 2017, the Insurance Institute performs crash tests into the side of a trailer. Here are the results with and without a guard at 35 miles per hour. Later in 2017, there is another crash test at a second Underride Roundtable. Here are the results with a guard at 40 miles per hour. Trailer manufacturer Hyundai's chief sales officer says, "If the government makes them mandatory, we would of course do our best to implement them." As seen here at an Ohio rest stop in 2020, some motor carriers have voluntarily installed side underride protection. So now what do we do? Trucking companies could demand trailers with side underride guards. Trailer manufacturers could supply trailers with side underride guards, or the government could mandate side underride guards, ideally with the support of industry, because a government law or regulation will place all manufacturers on a level playing field. Side underride protection allows the energy-absorbing bumpers, crumple zones, seatbelts, and airbags in your car to protect you like they were designed. It's been over 100 years. The past victims and the potential future victims are begging, fix this problem now.
Get rid of this. So Marianne and I, we had gone to a Senate meeting, probably, what is that, 5 years ago. And we were expecting there to be something about side underwriters for truck safety. And unfortunately, nothing was said about side underride. And out of frustration, we left the building and thought about, what we could do. And Marianne, you want to continue?
Well, Lois said we're sick and tired of waiting for somebody to do something about it. So we decided to take matters into our own hands and drafted a bill.
Mm-hmm.
And started emailing it around to different offices and got some meetings set up. And that was in March of 2017. In July of 2017, there was a side underride crash in New York where 4 people died under a tanker that had jackknifed across the road. And that was in New York. And so we had contacted Senator Gillibrand's office, among many others. And they responded by saying they wanted to sponsor the bill. They wanted to introduce the bill. So that was very exciting.
Yes, it was. And we had spent a lot of time in DC. We made copies of the bill and had them bound and started passing them out. And we actually made copies at Staples, and they made a mistake and they gave us twice as many. So we were very happy about that. So we had enough to share. And so that was one of the biggest things that we did in terms of starting to educate people in Congress about the stop underrides. Oh, Marianne, you want to set this up?
So as that first video showed, there, the 3 yellow squares, the trucking companies, the trailer manufacturers, and the government, who could all do something about it. We've taken a multi-prong approach all along. And so we've been reaching out to all the different, layers of the trucking industry and the government, the people that could do something about it. And one of the things that we wanted to make sure was that the people in Congress in DOT actually saw a crash test in person, because we believe that seeing is believing. And even better than a video, we wanted to see them to see in person that the difference between a crash with a guard and without. So we, in 2019, we organized a DC underride crash test about a mile from DOT. And Lois is going to show this video of, there were 3 crash tests on that day. There'll be 3 crash tests that you see, one on top of the other. The top one is with the angel wing side guard, which you saw in that first video that the IHS crash tested. That's with steel. The second one is a safety skirt, which is made out of polyester webbing. That's another, and it's like, engineers are creative. They'll solve the problem, and they can solve it in different ways. And then the bottom crash is a crash where there's no side guard at all. So you'll see the difference between the 3, and they're all about the same speed, about 30 to 35 miles per hour.
And I'd like to point out that we had a lot of help with this crash test. We had engineers that, brought their expertise to this process, as well as Michael had, she had created a video for us. So we had a lot of people that were donating things and that were helping us organize it. And I think the lesson here is that a lot of people are willing to help if you just ask them. And then let's see, we have after this, we have a visual of things that that we've done throughout the years. And these, I'm sure there are many more, but we just kind of brainstormed and came up with these guys. So we've spent a lot of time, when you talk about a multi-pronged strategy, and that changes all the time. But, we've tried to reach out to DOT, to the trucking industry, to the trailer manufacturers. We've had meetings with all of them, with Congress, both in the House and the Senate. We've spent a lot of time with the Commerce Committee as well as the T&I Committee. So we're continuing, and now because of the whole COVID thing, we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings just to keep pushing truck safety forward.
And the other thing we've tried to take advantage of is social media, Twitter, share things like on Facebook. And we've also tried to get the support of other safety related organizations for the bill itself. We've done a multitude of media interviews, and in general, I'll say for myself that this has helped me in my grieving to be able to do something to try and help other families not have to go through it themselves. And Lois has talked about, she keeps saying, well, she's not an expert at this, but practice is, you get better at doing this, and you don't have to be perfect to be an advocate, to be a voice. And it interrupts your life. I've had 3 meetings today. Before the meeting, I had to do some things to get ready for supper. So, it interrupts your life, and you don't always have, your whole family isn't necessarily at the place where they can be involved as well, where we all grieve in a different way. And another thing is you tend to face a lot of obstacles, roadblocks, you hit brick walls, and you get real frustrated. And sometimes you take it out on each other.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. So, but Lois and I have been blessed by being, having each other to support each other. So it helps to not just be by yourself and doing it.
Yes. We're moving in the same direction for for this purpose. And, we both long for the day that, we can, I don't know if we'll ever stop working, but that we can just rest easy knowing that Underride will be a thing of the past. So, and we've made a lot of progress. It's taken a lot of hard work, a lot of tears, but we keep pushing, and that's what you have to do. I think Brooke Jameson from Senator Gillibrand's office, you have to be a polite, persistent pest, and we've gotten really good at that. So in the last video, it's from the petition site that they did when we actually introduced the bill in 2017. So we thought this would be a good ending. That's not good. Hold on.
The grief that I and people that lose a loved one this way goes through is very complicated. First of all, it's unexpected, it's traumatic, and then when you learn that it could have been prevented, there's an anger and a frustration that doesn't let you get to peace.
They were only going about 30 miles an hour. Her fiance lost control of the car and ended up under the side of a semi-tractor trailer. So I guess we're gonna just have questions now, Jen?
Yeah, I was gonna actually stop the video at this point.
Yes, I'm.
Okay.
Stop,
And-
stop share.